First, I want to thank TIA. I've been a member of TIA for a very, very long time as a company and very active as a representative individually on the board and et cetera. But they're doing a great service to the industry. I was going back in my emails trying to figure out when we were talking about smart connected devices, and in 2008 at a board meeting, and then ultimately in 2009 we initiated the TR50 activities, which I thought was great. And it's a new frontier, and now everybody's talking about IoT and everybody's talking about M2M, and everybody says, well, gosh, that makes a lot of sense. But in reality, it didn't necessarily make intuitive sense before. I said he introduced me as Fred Yentz, President and CEO of ILS Technology, a Telit Company. Let me tell you a little bit about myself and about Telit. ILS Technology, I like to say, is a 15-year-old company with a 30-year history. And the reason I say that is we came out of IBM. We were doing M2M and IoT over Token Ring, quite frankly, if that dates me and puts me back in the world. There was no public internet where we were running this stuff across. We were connecting things to applications. And in reality, IoT is about things to applications anyway. We spun out of IBM in 2000. We had a great run. We had a lot of fun up until 2013, at which time we really found a great partner in this whole IoT market making. And that partner was Telit. So we actually became part of the Telit Company in September of 2013. And the reason for that is quite simple. We were in the market of providing a horizontal solution that connected kind of any vertical into any application. And that means you have to turn it into a data problem, not necessarily a thing-specific problem. And Telit also is in the market of providing very, very horizontal and scalable solutions in terms of instrumenting the things with cellular devices, which we call basically IoT or M2M modules, from 2G to LTE, also location type modules. So together we created what I think you'll find is probably the largest singularly focused company. I mean, some of the big companies, the Ciscos and the IBMs of the world, have big numbers on IoT, but they're also giant companies. We are 100% focused on IoT globally. We instrument things, we make the modules, we have the ability to provide interconnect through our M&O relationships, and we have the ability to go over the top and work with partners to basically make this data actionable. So I like to say it's the smallest but yet biggest company I've ever worked for in IoT, and it's probably the most global company. With just under or just over 800 people, we speak a ton of languages, we sell in 80 countries, and we have a lot of fun doing it because this is a great, great new frontier. So Scott said 50 billion things. Isn't that a good reason to be excited? 50 billion things. Are you ready? Are you ready for that? And is it real? What does it mean? First of all, what I think is important to note is the technologies have matured. Some standards have become rationalized where it's not a scary, scary science project. If people played in IoT 8 years ago, 9 years ago, sometimes maybe even 3, 4 years ago, there were some challenges with the ecosystem. There were some challenges with interoperability. There were so many new domains that a company had to address to be successful in IoT that there were some failed science projects. And I think those days are completely over. And when I think about the future, it truly is a much easier future that's not so much about the technology as it is about the business value. The other problem is a technology like IoT and M2M gets kind of rolling and out there. The early adopters and the early innovators, unfortunately, we love to talk about how we did it. Quite frankly, that doesn't matter. It's why you use it is ultimately what creates pickup in a market. So when I think about IoT, I think about this really cool opportunity for business transformation. And if we can create a method and a process and basically the underlying technologies to allow people to figure out how to transform their business and give the operators, big or small, local or foreign, the opportunity to offer these services to their enterprise customers, what you're going to find is you're going to find stickier customer relationships. You're going to find increased ARPU, you're going to find more sustainable value. Now, I like to say that there's no reason to do this unless you do one of three things. Hopefully you do all three, but make money. Your customers, your enterprise customers, or your own companies, you basically need to figure out a way to take these technologies and create new services or to create new offerings to basically figure out how to make money. There's got to be some return. Now, it might be indirect return. It might be just getting closer to your customer. It might be an affinity program that you use through connectivity. But somehow you've got to figure out how to build business value. The second thing is save money. This is actually probably the first use case in a lot of IoT in M2M. It was, how do I reduce my fleets? How can I do just-in-time fulfillment? How can I sense and see if something's broken and then maybe roll a truck only when I need to? The third thing I say is stay out of jail. I never write it down though. I always say be compliant. But compliance is a big deal. And it isn't necessarily legal compliance. It might be just your industry compliance. It might be compliance to business practices. It might be compliance for warranty entitlement, right? It's part of a business process, but it's measuring maybe compliance, not necessarily operational effectiveness of the asset. So there's a lot of really cool reasons to do IoT, and it's really important to think about it not as a technology, but as a toolbox of great solutions that a lot of the vendors here and people on the other side of the room can certainly help you with. I think we're really good at it, of course. I think we're in the top shelf of potential choices because we offer the end-to-end solution. But there's a way to move forward in IoT today that's not scary. Now, I just said it's all about, make money, save money, stay compliant, but I have to take a minute to at least tell you what it is. When you think about IoT, what's unique about IoT is you're connecting to things and you're collecting data. You're moving it through a network, and you're ultimately creating a point somewhere in the system where value is delivered. Without delivering value, it's just a connection, and a connection without value is usually called cost, and cost projects don't last very long. So it's connecting to a thing, moving it over into an application domain. Now, uniquely, a lot of things were connected cellular or wired. But there's some unique wireless technologies coming on board. So now we think about thing to cloud, cloud to application enablement platform. Some of the unlicensed spectrum stuff, the low power stuff. So having integration into LoRa and Sigfox and some of these other technologies is very, very important as well. And not everything on the right side is either your existing SAP ERP system, or maybe it's your Oracle backend, your enterprise systems. But it might be different clouds. It might be cloud-based HANA from SAP. It might be Google big cloud platform, big table, big query. Who knows, kind of how you're going to innovate, but there's reasons to do that. And there's a lot of cloud-to-cloud integration as well. For example, cloud-to-cloud into M2X, the AT&T environment.